We're going to talk about Warrior 3 today. So you can transition, of course, from a couple of different poses. In our sequence this month, we are transitioning from tree, and then we basically do standing one leg rotation. And I like this to warm up because in the extended leg on Warrior 3, the extended leg has to stretch the piriformis, the lateral rotators, and it has to engage the medial rotators. And a lot of times, and we stand like this when we're talking to people. So those lateral rotators get nice and tight and they get strong. So you want to make sure that your medial rotators are awake and ready. I'm going to show you, I'm going to start on the left leg. So really bring awareness to your foot, pulling up from the arch just like a mountain, and then we're lifting the kneecap up, and we're trying to keep the hips square here. A lot of times the tendency is for this to pop up. So you're engaging that TFL, glute min, glute med. So we're going to inhale, lengthen the spine, and if you can pick a focal point, that's great. You can use the wall if that helps you, but we're really lifting with the glute here. So our adductors are active, and now we rotate that extended leg in. I like to come into it this way with my hands pressing into the air. You can grab some blocks here if that feels better for you. Really engage the glutes. So this is a regression, would be to have the blocks if you were just practicing the hips. So the other thing that's happening is your glutes on the standing leg are really stabilizing. So you're going to be working those muscles. The calf might stretch a little bit because the tibialis anterior in the front of the leg is active to stabilize that whole ankle. The other way you can do it, and I'm going to come from this angle to make this pose a little easier. So the other thing to think about too is the upper body, right? The variation that I did, we have more of a neutral shoulder. If anything, it's slightly medially rotated because of the angle, but we're keeping the neck long. The other way to do it is to send the hands out in front, which is a harder variation. For me, I really prefer the stability of pushing, and I feel like your hands and your arms are really active. So you're still gonna get the benefit of the pose. So I'm gonna do the other side facing this direction, and I'm gonna do a regression, or regression's basically a different version to make it a little bit simpler or easier, where I'm using the wall. So my leg that comes up and is extended, my foot's gonna be against the wall. So we're gonna ground down, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. So keep the hips level, check in with that. We're engaging the core, it's not just the belly, it's the back muscles too. And when you're ready, we're lifting here. Don't let this hip pop out. This is going to be our standing leg this time. When you're ready, you can start to just tap the toe away slowly. And this leg, we're going to bend at the hip just like we were coming into a forward fold. So we'll find our wall, and you can walk it up until you're nice and straight. And you can, my mat is just a little bit too close. You can walk it up, or you can come into the pose and find, I never use the wall, find the wall, and then you can send the hands out. So if you're working on stability for the hips, my personal suggestion would be to use the blocks. And if you're working on extending the arms, I personally think the wall is a little bit easier than the blocks, because if you come from here, you're extending, right? Or either way, rotating that leg in, and then you would send the arms out. And there are tons of variations that you can do with the hands.